This fight ain't even, bro. This is, oh my, this fight ain't even good. That's the craziest part. Hello. So I wanted to talk about the Elden Ring DLC and why I'm done with it. Why I don't care to finish this DLC no more. Why I just feel like the DLC is peaked and I've got my fun out of the DLC, but it's time to move on from this DLC. Like I came to that conclusion last stream when I played this game, and I'm gonna get into the reasons why. Now, I already know how From Software stands go. Like, these suckers, you say anything critical about their games, the very first thing that comes to their mind, skill issue. Get good. I ain't have these problems. Shut up, okay? Just like, shut up. Okay, I ain't trying to hear it. I enjoyed mostly this DLC. For $40, man, the content that they put in this DLC was good. I still enjoyed this DLC, and I do not think that this was necessarily a bad DLC. It's better than a hell of a lot of DLCs you will get today from these other game devs out there, so no slander to this DLC from that standpoint. But I just feel like, yeah, I'm done playing this DLC, and I just feel like it was good for me to step away, because the way I was starting to feel about this DLC and the lack of fun that I was starting to have, it was just like, yo, why? Like, why am I still playing this junk? So I personally feel like I was very disappointed in this DLC from the standpoint of the boss fights. I thought that was going to be like one of the biggest improvements that we was going to see in this DLC, just better boss fights. I thought the base game for Elden Ring had, you know, multiple good fights, but I did think that that was like the weaker aspect of Elden Ring, like the main bosses it had, like outside of Godfrey and maybe Margit the first time, not like the other 2 or 3 or 4 different times they throw them out. And freaking Melania. Like, you had some good bosses in Elden Ring, but I could probably count on like one hand all of the main bosses I actually enjoyed. And hell, Melania is not even a main boss. She's freaking optional. So I just wasn't enjoying, for the most part, a lot of these bosses. The Divine Beast Dancing Lion, trash. Fat Hippo, trash. Commander Gaius, trash. Romana Saint Bud, whatever that freaking thing was, I don't, trash. The Mother of Fingers, like they had some boss that had just like a bunch of fingers, and it just looked like a vagina with fingers or something like that. It was like, but you know how in these games like they have like a bunch of like optional bosses and stuff like that. There were some like side bosses that I did enjoy. I think like one was called like the Death Knight or something like that. Midra was pretty good too. But as far as the main battles in this game, the only 2 bosses that I can actually say that I enjoyed was Rolana and Mesmer. I got my cheeks pounded by Rolana. I got my cheeks destroyed with no lube by Mesmer, and I had nothing to say. You know why? Because I thought they were actually good battles. Like, this has nothing to do with me dying a lot. This has nothing to do with get good or skill issue. I died like at least over 100 times to Mesmer. At the very least, look, I did not complain not one time, because you could see Mesmer was a great fight. I personally think Mesmer might be a top 10 Souls fight, maybe even top 5, but I might have to think about that. I loved Mesmer in this DLC. He is hands down the best boss in this DLC. Ralana, she was good as well. What was that other fight that I just did? I thought from a visual standpoint it was good, but as far as the fight, I think it was like Bale, that a freaking dragon or whatever. Trash. Another issue that I have with this DLC, especially, and I didn't have this issue in the base game. At least I don't remember me like feeling the same way. There's a lot of bosses in this DLC that is not even the boss themselves that is hard. It's just, it seems like every boss in this DLC has crazy range, an insane hitbox, and unless you're literally UI Goku, you're not going to succeed for like at least you're gonna be dying a bunch of times until you finally get past this freaking boss and move on to the next. And I did not feel like this in the base game. Now, I know they tried to, you know, up the difficulty in this DLC with the whole Erdtree fragments, and you gotta go out and find this junk to, you know, kind of buff your skills up, and how levels don't really matter in this DLC. I get all of that, but still, the bosses themselves. I remember when I was still on Dancing Lion, literally the first boss in this DLC. It's been feeling like that since then. They all just got insane range, and their hitbox is freaking broken. And unless you literally memorize all of their moves and the exact frame data and when you're supposed to dodge, and again, be UI Goku, this DLC feels just almost too frustrating at times. Like, if you've been playing Souls games for a while, Souls games are known to be frustrating, but not quite like this. It's always more so like, yo, okay, you right, I do just need to get good. But in this, was it just me that it felt different? Like, it felt like it was just like, all right, bro, what the freak are we doing right now? Radahn. This sucker is the reason why I quit this DLC. I have no further interest in trying to fight this sucker. And it has nothing to do with him being too hard. I mean, at this point I died like maybe what, 70 or 80 plus times. But again, I died to Mesmer, what, over 100 times? Sucker, I kept on coming back. I kept on coming back because Mesmer was fun. I have no interest, no motivation, no will to want to continue to fight Radahn because I don't think that the fight is good. First off, it's another freaking boss that you fought already in the base game. You know how in the base game they was like making you fight bosses, and then like a few fights later they will bring back the boss as like a side. So in this game they decided, you know what? Let's have them fight Radahn in the base game, and then in the DLC, let's have him be the final. Let's have him be the final boss, and this is how we're gonna end this jump. Mesmer should have been the freaking final boss of this DLC. I don't care what no one says. This sucker is on the front cover. He's the best boss fight in the game. Once you get to Radahn, his first phase, I got down the first phase. Whatever. I don't even really feel like his first phase is all that bad. But again, it's because of the insane range that this sucker has with those two big behind swords and his hitbox. And again, unless you're freaking UI Goku, you're gonna be getting like, dog, it's freaking ridiculous. But once you get past the first phase, okay. I don't know what type of cock Miyazaki is stroking you suckers with, but you cannot tell me that the second phase of Radahn is good. You can't. Like, like, I don't want to hear no From Software stand be like, no, it was epic. It was Radahn past the first phase is probably one of the most cancerous fights I have ever seen in a Souls game. The stuff that this man is doing, it don't even make sense. Like, he's freaking slashing you and freaking explosions are going off, so it's like you have to do in an extra dodge, and then he's going in like the air, and you're seeing him like come at you like in 8 different waves, and then he's freaking just all the stupid stuff. I literally could not believe the stuff that I was seeing. And someone in my I think it was Legend, who was a mod in my chat. Shout out to him. He was like, "Yo, what are these from software devs smoking? Oh, over there, these suckers are insane." And I truly feel like when they be developing especially in this DLC, I just felt like they was just trying to like overly make this DLC hard to kind of just be like, see, we are still the king of Souls games. No one does hard quite like us. And they say that Radahn is supposed to be like the hardest Souls fight in history. Okay, whatever. Is he a good fight though? Rolana and especially Mesmer. After that, this DLC just kind of falls off the cliff for me. Like, this DLC peaks after Mesmer. Once you beat Mesmer, there's no like getting better than that, in my opinion. All the other bosses that came after Mesmer, I have not enjoyed. Maybe mid, because I think I got the mid after Mesmer. Maybe outside of him, all the other bosses that are in this DLC, I have not enjoyed. After that, I'm just like, yo, what am I doing? Like, I literally had I had an epiphany. Like, I had the controller in hand. I was streaming this junk, you know, going through the highs and lows of, you know, being confident that you starting to download the fight and then you lose and then go back into it. It's like, oh, I messed up here. Then going back into fight and be like, nah, I got it. And then going back into fight and then all of a sudden you'll start doing worse than the last time. Rinse and repeat. After a while, I'm just like, why am I still playing this junk? Honestly, if I'm not enjoying this final fight, again, I have no problem with dying. Again, I was dying to freaking Mesmer a gang of times, to Rolana a bunch of times. It's not the deaths. It's the deaths stacked on top of the actual boss fight not being good. And I just do not feel like Radahn is a good fight. I just don't. I think he's actually a bad boss battle. His freaking second phase is toxic as all hell, cancerous as all hell. Apparently he has a third phase, which I ain't even seen. Again, I'm not like trying to crap on the DLC saying it's a bad DLC. I still think for freaking $40, this DLC was worth it. But compared to other Souls DLCs that I've played, this junk ain't even touching the old Hunters DLC in Bloodborne that actually had amazing boss fights in that. If this DLC did not have Mesmer, if this junk didn't have Mesmer, dog, come on now. Like, again, bro, I don't know what Miyazaki been stroking his From Software stands with, but that sucker must got an incredible dick, because the way suckers just be blind eyeing all of this junk and just acting like it's all good and gravy and it's a masterpiece. No, the freak it's not, dude. It's not. I don't know what Miyazaki been stroking his From Software stands with, but that sucker must got an incredible dick, because the way suckers just be blind eyeing all of this junk and just acting like it's all good and gravy and it's a masterpiece. No, the freak it's not, dude. Yeah, I dropped this DLC. It's a shame because I'm literally right at the end. I'm right at Radahn, but I have no motivation to actually even want to beat this dude. Even if I do beat him, I haven't felt like that again, actually, since Mesmer. All these bosses that like you die to over and over and over again, like, you know how once you finally beat them, you feel like, oh my god, yes, I did it. You don't even feel like that in this DLC. At least I don't. Like, every time I get past an annoying ass boss, I'm just like, I can't believe I really just put myself through that. Like, that is what I've been saying almost for every boss post Mesmer. Hey, y'all let me know. Am I complaining, bro? Do y'all feel like the way that I feel? I heard Ackman had, like, you know, was saying something kind of like the stuff that I'm saying now too, and even he was catching slander. It's just crazy how certain like fandoms for games, they legit can't handle criticism for their games. It's the same way with the Last of Us fan base, which is why I don't really even like talking about Last of Us like that no more, because their fan base is so like, oh, you can't say that. Like it's the same thing with From Software stands. It's the same thing. Like if you say anything that's not praising Miyazaki and the floor that he walks on, these suckers have a problem. I'm not saying that the DLC is bad. I'm just saying, bruh, come on now. Anyways, though. That's all I have to say, man. Yeah, I dropped this DLC. I dropped it. I honestly don't even feel shame, because again, I wasn't enjoying that fight. Like, even if I beat Radon, I can promise you I would have felt no type of like elation, no type of like, oh my gosh, I did it. Like, there's no trophies in the DLC. What the hell am I playing this sucker for if I can't even get a trophy at the very least? Why? Sucker, I'm 32 years old. Life is too life is too short to be putting myself through this and playing games I am not having fun with. Period. So that's how I feel about this DLC. Now, granted, all the stuff that I just said about this DLC, I would probably still give this DLC, just as far as graphics goes and exploration and content, you know, I still probably give her this DLC like a 7.5, an 8, probably an 8. So again, I still enjoy the DLC, but bro, come on, this junk do got flaws. Like it do. Like I was very disappointed with the boss battles in this DLC. I thought they was gonna like up the ante. So I'm enjoying the boss battles more in the base game. So that's all I have to say. Y'all let me know what did y'all think about the DLC, because I know I haven't really done any footage of this DLC since I beat the dancing line and uploaded that on my channel. But I still been playing it on my Twitch. But what did y'all think about the DLC? What did y'all think about the bosses? Who was your favorite boss in this DLC? Do you agree with me? And if Mesmer was not in this DLC, this jump will be even more weak than it is. What did you think about Radon as the final boss, the boss battle itself, Miyazaki from Software stands, what they was going for with this DLC? Y'all leave all that and more down in the comment section below. Rant over. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. And yeah, man, hey, y'all get the yapping in the comments. I'm still going to respond.